Hello everyone, and welcome back to another album review, and in this video I'm going to review Lament by Total. This one is a brand new release from Profound Lore Records, and this is the debut album from the band Total, a band that I have never heard of before. I just happened to check this out as a Profound Lore Records release, and I was also immediately mesmerized by this amazing album cover. This is going to be easily one of my favorite album covers of the year. I really love the details and this sort of messy and nasty design to it. And since I saw myself being a bit behind with some metal releases from this year, I decided to give this one a shot. I got into this album having absolutely no expectations, but what was also really intriguing were the genre tags, which are actually accurate. This is indeed a blackened crushed album. In this debut we have a tight combination of black metal and crushed punk. Two genres that you can find some sort of similarities with the way they're usually produced. Albums in both black metal and crushed punk tend to be really nasty and raw production, but in terms of songwriting, playing and riffs, they're totally different. So it's nice to see a combination of those two. Not that it's truly unique or something that has never been done before, but the thing is that the ending result is actually really pleasant. I think that the combination of these two genres is really well done. Each track individually sporadically shifts genres, going for sudden and immediate change-ups from black to crushed and vice versa. All this by keeping the same nasty production, which is really raw. The production of this album is actually nice, it's well done and detailed, riffs, drumming and vocals are recognizable, but there is still a nasty and heavy approach that could both appeal to black metal listeners and also to crushed punk listeners. Though I would say the sound goes more into black metal rather than crushed punk, especially with the terms of production as well. The black metal parts just happen to sound more solid and also to fit more with this kind of production. It's not that the crushed punk segments are bad, but I don't think they have that much of the protagonist role when it comes to these songs. But all the segments and all the tracks sound on point. The performances of this album are absolutely incredible. Riffs on this thing, vocals, they're all on point. Then it comes the part of songwriting, where I would say there is a nice shift and transition in between songs and also in the songs individually as well. The drum patterns and riffs, changing from one genre to the other, do not sound out of place. Instead, there is a nice and smooth cohesion in between them. The main issue is though that as a full experience, the album doesn't expand its horizons to something more than that. It's still one of those albums that keeps the same formula for its entirety, meaning that what you hear at first is what the album is going to drag itself up until the end. After that is whether the ideas are that well executed or if there are many memorable moments or the ones that can click with you. Lament might not have that many standout moments for both good or bad songs, but it still makes it for a solid release. There is a nice balance in between songs, and main things on albums like this, like songwriting and performance, are on point. I especially like how nasty it sounds, and each song manages to hit you hard right from the beginning with killer riffs, bombastic blast beats, and then a nice combination on both black and crushed. There are also some smoother parts, like the intro Desolate, which serves as an introduction to the song As Below that immediately starts really heavy, and then it's the song Omnius that serves as an introduction to Bereft. These two tracks are less than a minute long, and they sound like acoustic, folkish tunes. Throughout some of the longer tracks, there are some more sludgy and slower moments that just serve to have a more atmospheric tone, being a bit more melodic with the riffs. Biggest and best example of this is the last song, Bereft, which is also the longest one of the album, going for 7 minutes long. This is one of the slower paced tracks of the album, and it has become by far my biggest highlight on this album, mainly because the playing and some of the riffs kind of reminds me of Blue Nord's 777 Cosmosophy, which happens to be probably my favorite black metal album ever. And so this is why this makes it my favorite moment on the album. The song still shares some black and crushed moments with its blast beats and its deep beats, but by far the most standout parts of this 7-minute track are the slower parts with its amazing riffs at the beginning and the end of the song. Also, what I love about this is that it has less of a basic structure, something that I also really loved about Cosmosophy. And it's also like the sound of these beautiful riffs just surrounded behind dark and nasty environments. With all that being said, I love the approach on this album, not that much because of the uniqueness on the approach, but because of its execution. This is another solid release from Profound Lore Records. This is a really strong debut, and it's possibly going to be one of my favorite metal albums of this year. And so I'm going to give this album a 7+ out of 10. What's your opinion on this album? Like it, dislike it, why, and what do you want me to review next time? Let me know down in the comments. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.